Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Car Ride Reactions, the show where we are always on fire. Today I just walked out of the new Springsteen Deliver Me From Nowhere movie, the biopic about Bruce Springsteen, the boss, starring Jeremy Allen White, who's one of my favorite actors right now. A really rising star. I mean, I'd say he is a star right now. And honestly, this was another one that he killed it in, man. First of all, I'll say, just before we get going, love biopics. I think it's a great way of storytelling to me, especially for musicians. I think it's great. There's so many fascinating personalities in that world, and it really was I don't know if fun's the right word. It was a good movie. There was a lot of heavy emotion to this. I felt like I got a really good insight into who Bruce Springsteen the man was. And then I'm actually of the belief, if this is wrong, blame my dad, because he told me this before I saw it. I'm of the belief that Bruce Springsteen actually picked Jeremy Allen White, handpicked him to star as him in this movie. So he must have saw something he liked in him as an actor that he thought could portray where he was in life. Because this actually wasn't a movie. I've noticed biopics going more and more like this recently, where it's not actually about his full life, which makes sense because Bruce Springsteen's still alive. But it's more about a period where he was in his life. So more specifically, this movie was about where he was in life when he was writing the Nebraska album, which is the album that had Nebraska on it, Born in the USA, I'm on Fire. There's some of the songs that, to be honest with you, I wasn't the biggest Springsteen fan going into this movie. My parents definitely shared a lot of their music with me when I was growing up, and I love a lot of music from that period, but Springsteen was one I was less educated on. But even still, this album had a lot of the songs on it that I was aware of from Springsteen. So that was a cool tie-in. But yeah, I think when the movie ends, he's 32 years old, which is the age I am now. So it's really that period of his life. And I think what I got of the movie, what was going on at that period of his life, is that's when I think he felt his lowest and most depressed, which is interesting because it also appears to be when his star was starting to take off. So when I get into the movie, he's famous enough that people know who he is. He's had some records out. People know his songs, but he's still not famous enough that he's able to kind of walk around and do. You guys can go. Sorry, there's someone running out in the middle of the street on me. The privileges of doing these when we're driving, right? Anyway, yeah, so he's still not famous enough that he could go out in public and do things like that, but he was such an interesting guy to me, because usually musicians, when we hear these stories about like them going through depression, and a lot of it is, it comes with a bottle or, a bag of drugs, and like they really lose themselves. He didn't, at least the movie didn't portray it this way. He didn't really lose himself in any of that. He just had like real depression. And I think I don't know if he had imposter syndrome, but I felt like he didn't think he deserved the success he was going to get, or he didn't deserve happiness. And I think a lot of that, they did a good job of having flashbacks to when he was a kid, and I think some of the trauma he had when he was a kid with his family, even though he had a loving family, they just had their problems in it, and I think that affected his ability to be happy for himself. And yeah, it was fascinating to me to see a rock star, a superstar, or a rising star like Bruce Springsteen was, like, be in this mental state that he was in. So really good movie. I will say there was probably a lot less music in it than you'd think there'd be. Like, the opening of the movie is him doing a musical number for Born to Run, and then like throughout the movie you see him writing certain songs, or you see him doing like bar shows and things like that, but they're very short-lived. You don't get like a full musical number, and the way the movie ends isn't even necessarily like, I feel like a lot of these biopics end with like a big musical production. Like if you saw Bohemian Rhapsody, you think about how they end on like Live Aid is the end. This was it almost felt like kind of an abrupt ending, because it goes into him getting the album pushed the way he wants it to, and then like what the movie was leading to wasn't like this big number or this big performance. What the movie led to was him going to therapy, because where the movie kind of ends is he goes into therapy with somebody and he breaks down, and it's the first time you see him in the movie really be emotional, and then they do a time jump to 10 months later and he's just a better place in life. So that I thought was really well done. Like I said, just a really good character pick. Like, it was a biopic, but it was about him in a very specific period of his life. And when the credits roll at the end, one of the things that pops up is like, Bruce Springsteen still struggled with depression, but he never felt hopeless or alone or helpless. You know, he had that. So that was the low point, that even though he had depression after this point in the movie, or after this point in his life that the movie showed, he always felt equipped to handle it. And I just thought that was really cool, really good way to do it. I liked it a lot. I'm gonna go 7.5 out of the movie, even though it was a little different than I thought it would be. It's still great. And I just, man, Jeremy Allen White crushed that shit. So let's talk about it, actually. I'll rank my favorite 4 Jeremy Allen White roles for you. I'm gonna go 4. I'm gonna go Shameless at 4. I loved Shameless as a show, but will say that, you know, he's still a young kid. He's playing just a kid from Chicago. I don't think, man, actually, there's some challenging scenes that he goes through in that show, in that movie, and he's really challenged. But I'll put that 4, which should tell you how highly I think of him as an actor. At 3, I'm gonna go this one for Springsteen 3, and I just told you he got done crushing this, so that should tell you a lot about how I feel about how he did, or about his acting. So 3 will go Springsteen. 4, I'm gonna go Iron Claw, which is a movie that is slept on. It's a wrestling movie about the Von Erich family, which is one of the craziest stories anyone's that ever lived or told. Like, I've seen so many documentaries, and I saw the movie, and it's still unbelievable. In fact, the movie's not even accurate enough how crazy it is, but him playing Carrie Von Erich in that movie, excellent. For me and my family that are into like wrestling and that story and everything, we love Jeremy Allen White's performance in that. I'm gonna go 2. And number 1, I'm gonna go The Bear, man. Like, Chef Carmy. I know I put Shameless last, but and that's what we saw the most of, was him as Lip Gallagher. I'm gonna go Chef Carmy and The Bear as his number 1 acting. I mean, that show is so great. Everything he does, even when he doesn't talk in that movie, I feel what I'm supposed to feel with that guy acting. So that would be my top 4 from Jeremy Allen White. We'll go Shameless 4. We'll go Springsteen 3. We got Iron Claw 2, and I'll go 1 is him and The Bear. But great actor, man. One of my favorites right now for sure. I think this movie was dope. If you're not a Springsteen fan, if you are a Springsteen fan, I think you'll love it even more. I highly recommend go seeing this shit, honestly. So check it out. Let me know what you think in the comments. Yeah, make sure you're watching more. So we'll end the review there, but I always like to give y'all my favorite trailer. We got, this time, a bunch of trailers we'd seen before, but Crime 101 is a new one to me, starring Chris Hemsworth and Halle Berry. I had not seen that trailer, but man, I'm locked in for that one. That looked good. That looked really good. So check that trailer out. Let me know what you think in the comments of that, if you plan on seeing that one. Other than that, guys, back at the crib now. So what we got next, I might do Regretting You. I think I'm gonna regret that because that movie looks depressing as hell, but I'm in for the ride. Let's see what it's all about. I think after that we got, I think Begonia is the end of the month. I'm really excited for Begonia. I think Ken's down for Begonia. So stay tuned for that one. And in November, we're so pumped for Running Man and Predator Badlands. I think Predator Badlands is 7th and Running Man's the 14th. Super excited for that one. Can't wait to see if Glenn Powell delivers on the original. Can't wait to see if the Predator franchise really is back. I'm actually going to rewatch the original Running Man before to try to give y'all some comparisons, see if it's as good as the original for those that have seen it. But yeah, guys, appreciate you watching. Like I say every time, we appreciate the likes, subscribes, want to build a community. If you made it to this point of the video, I really do appreciate you. Trying to make stuff more entertaining. So yeah, keep giving us the feedback. We'll keep pumping out these videos. Stay tuned. Later.